The UK Time Out on Radio Biafra, bringing news beats from across the United Kingdom, incisive analysis by the People's Parliament, our panel dissects the topics of the week, and listeners interact.
Also featuring great Biafran history, education, awareness, and enlightenment, plus entertainment galore.
Tune in to the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra, Sundays from 7:30 p.m. Biafran time and British Summer Time. Set out for a fabulous week ahead with the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. News, views, previews, and reviews. Join us.
Good evening from here. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, where you are. Welcome to the UK Time Out on Radio Biafra. My names are Ike Chukwu Nais Nwokoro Ichie Mwachinemere. I hail from Onitsha, Ezinihite, Owerri province in Biafra. And I serve my beloved Biafrans in the capacity of the IPOB United Kingdom National Coordinator. I'm your host. Today, we'll be bringing you the usual lineup of our news piece, and also on the People's Parliament, we have special guests, two of them, expected in the studios to discuss the topic of homecoming, transformational move that will lead to the restoration of our sovereignty, which is Biafra, through the development of Igbo land in particular. My guests are seasoned community leaders and servants who know the ins and outs of our aspirations as a people. But before everything else, we usually start with a word of prayer in the language of heaven. Chukwu okike abịa ma kere eluigwe na ala, onye anyị na-akpọ isi ala nye eze ọkaka enwe onye yiri gịnị, anyị gị na-achị ruo mgbe ebighị ebi. Anyị ụmụ ga-agbakọkwa ọzọ n'ụbọchị nke taa, ụbọchị ụka, ụbọchị afọ nke ọma inyere anyị, inye gị otuto, ibuli aha nsọ gị, ịtụkwa aro dịka anyị si atụ maka ọdịmma anyị na ọganihu anyị. Anyị ayọ gị mgbaghara mmehie ụzọ ọbụla na-esizi mmehie eze, biko mere anyị amara, nyere anyị aka. Agị bụ ike anyị, anyị enweghị ike ọzọ belesọ gị. Ihe niile na-akpagbu anyị, eze ịmazuru ha niile, kachasị nnwere onwe anyị, inweta ala nke ikwere anyị na nkwa Biafra, mezuoro anyị ha niile, karịchakwa nke uche anyị rutere ọchịchọ anyị ha. N'otu aka ahụ, anyị nakwa arịọ gị maka oruru nwoke onye ndu anyị Nnamdi Kanu. O teela eze, anyị na ayọ gị, ọ nọ n'aka ndị iro n'ụlọ itere ka ị kpọpụtara anyị ya, n'ihi na anyị na ya so eje ije ụsa. Mere anyị ya, mekwere ya ebere, mere ya amara nna, ka oge na-agaghị ete aka, ka imetụ ndị ji ya n'aka n'obi, ndị zuu, ndị ọjọọ, onye isi ala ha na ndị otu ya niile aka n'obi, ka ha mepee ụzọ asị ya pụsị ebe a pụta. Anyị mana ị ga-emezi ya karịkwa ka anyị yọrọ gị, nara otuto, nara ngọzi, nara mbuli elu. Ayọ gị n'aha nwa gị nwoke Yeshua HaMashiach. Ise, 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 ise. Elu megide, ala megide, elu na ala megide, ndị si na ọ gaghị adịrị anyị na mma. Newsbeat is next. Stay tuned.
Good evening. Welcome to Newsbeat on the UK Time Out. I am Wada Oge with Mazinonso. The 2025 IPOB UK annual general meeting will hold in July. The Northern Zone chief host of the 2025 AGM are meeting as we speak to finalize the fine details, which will be communicated to all IPOB worldwide by the weekend. IPOB UK National Coordinator Chief Ikechukwu Nwokoro has hinted that this year's AGM will be special, as it will be a platform for our European evangelism, which kicks off on March 29th in Ferrara, Italy. As the new Ohaneze President General, Chief Azubike Mbata, assumes his office, his role, addressing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's unjust detention must be a priority, as he resonates deeply with the aspirations of the Igbo people for fairness and equity. By advocating for Kanu's freedom, the new PG has the opportunity to demonstrate that Ohaneze Ndigbo is committed to the welfare and the rights of her people. Prioritizing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's release will pave the way for constructive dialogue between the Nigerian government and Igbo nation. By addressing the grievances tied to Kanu's detention, the Ohaneze President General could facilitate a forum for open discussions about the broader issues affecting the region, including economic development, security, and political representation. Owako Ikwere Worldwide has made a rebuttal to a social media disclaimer on the new Ohaneze PG, claiming it was not aware of the said publication, which they said was by some social media hooligans. The Yoruba Apex Sociocultural Body, Afenifera, has congratulated Senator Mbata on his emergency as Ohaneze PG. A similar solidarity message for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria has called for immediate and unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. The group has emphasized the various negative impacts his incarceration have had and still continue to have in the Southeast. In a statement last Tuesday, Horiwa's National Coordinator Emmanuel Onwubiko condemned the federal government for its persistent disregard of court rulings, including those of Nigerian courts and directives from the international human rights bodies such as the United Nations Human Rights Council. The group also demanded that the federal government compensate Kanu to the tune of 100 billion naira for his unconstitutional detention and dehumanization he has endured. It further stated that Kanu's ongoing detention has exacerbated insecurity in the Southeast, leading to significant economic decline in the region. Horiwa estimated that the insecurity caused by the government's heavy-handed approach has resulted in billions of naira in lost revenue, disrupted education, transportation, and increased unemployment, especially among the youths.
Former Director of Department of State Service DSS, Mike Ejiofor, on Thursday urged President Bola Tinubu to unconditionally release Nnamdi Kanu. Ejiofor urged Tinubu administration to consider a political solution to resolve insecurity challenges across the Southeast. Speaking on Arise TV, Ejiofor lamented that unknown gunmen killing innocent people in Southeast claim they are fighting for Kanu release, noting that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has condemned these actions, speaking out against the sit-at-home and said he is not a supporter of it. As Onyendu's Bell restoration case hearing viewed on Monday, January 13, was postponed. Madike has now pledged 1 million for any Nigerian law students who can find judicial precedents on stay of execution of an accused who has already been discharged and acquitted. Meanwhile, IPOB have condemned in the strongest terms the barbaric slaughter of 30 innocent people in Osu, Imo State by a group of bloody, thirsty criminals. The sponsored video in the viral video of senseless slaughter of innocent people in Osu Hitokwa community in Imo State accused a group that called themselves Omoma as responsible for the Stanley Acts and not ESN or IPOB volunteers. But the treacherous video also questioned the relevance of ESN operatives. This government paid faceless person behind the video over in a viral video not to only discredit ESN or indirectly accuse ESN for not acting to save our people. ESN wants to keep all Biafrans community safe even if the community is hostile for them. For public records, ESN remains ESN without any nickname. The so-called Omoma are same criminal in Biafra Liberation Army under the control of Simon Ekpa Biafra government in exile, with one Butuzo as their notorious commander. The Nigerian government must leave IPOB and ESN out of their sponsored killings. IPOB members and ESN operatives do not get involved in any violence against anyone except the marauding Fulani terrorists when they try to occupy our farmland. Those blaming ESN for over soulless killing in the RCA to by criminals like Omoma should stop and blame the Nigerian government and governors from Southeast with our nefarious security forces and proxies, including Igbo politicians who recruit criminals and thugs to provide cover for them. IPOB Middle East Rep DOX member Mazi Chinasa captured the mood in his last night broadcast while appealing to well-meaning Biafrans to join and support IPOB push for imminent restoration of Biafra. Moru also touched on the DOX directives on the terms and conditions for admission of a new and returning family members. Seriously, venting at different levels will be conducted and anyone who has blood on their hands would never be admitted into IPOB.
The family of Onyendu's wife, Lolo Uche Chokukano, has petitioned the key protagonists of the malicious lies and wicked falsehood against her personality, fidelity, and marital integrity. Those called to answer before the gods of Biafra land and our great ancestors are the agent provocateur Simon Ekpa Njoko, Onyendu's in-law Young Onkwe aka Master Prophet, and his wife Chinwe Kanu Onkwe. They have up to March this year to appear before the Kamanu Umugo Awomuku traditional shrine to confirm or otherwise confess their false accusations of adultery and other acts they leveled against the daughter of the soil. Lolo Uchechi will return on the UK Timeout on Radio Biafra as our February special guest. Don't miss another explosive episode. In another development, fire engulfed the section of Nkwonewi Market, popularly known as Afiambwede, destroying goods worth billions of naira last Tuesday morning. The potential total destruction of the market, which could have resulted in losses worth trillions of naira, was averted through the swift intervention of Professor Joseph Ubaja, the Chief Medical Director of Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, Newi. Professor Ubaja mobilized 5 fire trucks and personnel from NAUTH to tackle the blaze, battling the inferno for over 5 hours before successfully extinguishing it. Traders and residents expressed relief after the fire was contained, given the potential devastation to the economic hub of Newi. They were grateful to Professor Uwaja and his team, who responded swiftly, demonstrating bravery and professionalism. Their intervention saved the market and town. The Rivers State Police Command say they have recovered the body of a Dutch national who drowned while escaping gunmen. The police had launched a search and rescue operation in the state after a Toyota Hilux van carrying company workers, including a foreign national, plunged into the Kulo River. The vehicle was reportedly part of a convoy ambushed by armed kidnappers on the east-west road in Eleme, causing the driver to lose control and veer off the bridge into the river. The remains of a white man whose car plunged into the Eleme River in Rivers State, South Nigeria, had been recovered, the police said on Tuesday.
The Federal Capital Territory Police Command says its patrol and guard units intercepted 59 male children suspected to be victims of human trafficking. The range Abuja's resident Timi Ajayi, who murdered his girlfriend Salomi Adaidu in a suspected ritual killing, has said he had no regrets committing their heinous crime, alleging that the disease was always cheating on him. Meanwhile, neighbors in the FCT suburb expressed shock, maintaining that Timi, who was known as a gospel singer, has an innocent lifestyle. In Niger State, the government, Mohammed Bajo, has called for adoption of Hausa as the medium of instruction in primary and secondary secondary schools across northern Nigeria. In Lagos, recent impeachment of Udashiru Obasa as the Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly has been described as long overdue decision, influenced by President Bola Tinubu's intervention and Obasa's defiance. Elsewhere, Nigeria Labour Congress Akwa Ibom State Chapter has praised Governor Umo Eno for successful physical verification exercise of civil servants, which has so far identified over 2,000 ghost workers out of 55,120 civil servants before the exercise. A little over 51,700 workers were verified. Some civil servants are yet to be verified due to a mismatched national identification number. The Akwa Ibom NLC also commended Governor Eno as promise keeper, who is committed to implement 80,000 minimum wage for all public workers in the state. Starting from last November, 3 buses were attacked in Enugu and 4 Nigerian Army personnel were taken by the attackers, but one of the victims, Private Usendo Emedion, managed to escape. Presently, there is apprehension in Enugu Ezike in Igbo Eze, North Enugu State, following the abduction of 35 passengers by suspected Fulani herdsmen.
Governor Francis Nwifuru of Ebonyi State has promised support for private sector groups making efforts to develop Igbo land, expressing his administration's readiness to partner with all such organizations. Nwifuru emphasized that entrepreneurs from the region should harness their potential to invest in Igbo land. He gave this assurance last Monday when a delegation from the Association of Computer Village Merchants of Nigeria paid him a courtesy visit at his office in Otrudo Centenary City, Abakaliki. Governor Nwifuru highlighted the importance of collaboration to increase revenue and drive investment in the southeastern region, outlining efforts by the Ebonyi State government to support homegrown ideas and innovations. Governor Nwifuru over the weekend addressed Ebonyi State students who are sponsored on state scholarships to the UK, warning them not to be like Simon Ekpa. A retired military general has called for the immediate disbandment of DSS, NI and the DIA over their failures to track sponsors of terrorism. General Williams suggested that the NIA and DSS in particular should be disbanded since it's obvious they cannot effectively identify and monitor the sponsors of terrorism, stating that if the National Intelligence Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and the Department of State Services cannot find where Boko Haram terrorists are getting their money from, the government should close the agencies, questioning if Boko Haram is getting money from heaven. General Williams added that if people in the terrorized communities do not support them, they will get them out. In Borno and Nasarawa states, terrorists attacked and killed 50 farmers and fishermen in the Dumba community of Bagatan in Borno State and the Tatara village of Nasarawa last Sunday night. Dumba is located on the fringes of Lake Chad. The incident took place on a day another group of terrorists attacked Bazia village in Chibok and killed 2 brothers, razed a church and residential house after looting a livestock and foodstuff. Reacting to the Dumba attack, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum condemned it and called on the officers and men of operation heading Kai to track and obliterate the insurgents operating in Dumba and other similar enclaves in the Lake Chad area. In Nasarawa, at least another 10 persons were killed last Sunday. According to eyewitness, the attack, which started as an armed robbery, was unprovoked and was carried out by a group of Fulani militia who invaded the community on motorcycles and started shooting sporadically. Some locals say the killers were terrorists from the neighboring villages in Kaduna State, while others claim the terrorists were fleeing Zamfara and Katsina following military onslaught against
Lagos High Court on Wednesday discharged and acquitted Chief Frederick Nwajiago, the Eze-Igbo Ajah Estate, who has been unlawfully incarcerated in Ikoyi prison since 2023, when he was thrown into detention by Lagos State government for terrorism and other trumped-up offenses. Chief Nwajiago was illegally arrested for allegedly making a video warning Tinubu Talk, MC Olomo, and other Yoruba youths to cease persecution of Ndibo and burning of Igbo-dominated markets in Lagos State, or else he would be compelled to invite IPOB to secure Igbo markets and assets in Lagos State. The Lagos State government abysmally failed to prove any offenses of terrorism charge against Chief Nwajiago, so the High Court discharged and acquitted him of all counts of the terrorism-related charges. He was, however, convicted and sentenced to 12 months imprisonment for the offense of parading himself as a certified chief in Lagos State, contrary to Oba and Chief Law of Lagos State. For having been incarcerated for almost 2 years, he was ordered to be released immediately. Chief Barrister Fabian Onwuhalo, a former president of Ohanese, Lagos, and a council of chief, Nwajiago said they are striving to set aside the conviction of parading himself as a chief in Lagos State. On appeal, as the prosecution did not prove the offense to warrant the conviction, especially as the Eze-Igbo institution is not recognized by the law of Lagos State, and so has nothing to do with Oba and Chief Law status. Also, the conviction contradicts the fundamental right of freedom of association of Ndibo in Lagos State. Zoo Minister of State for Gas, Eberibe Ebo, has refuted claims of marginalization of Ndibo in the ongoing high-pressure gas pipeline infrastructure project, saying it's not true that the Southeast is excluded, but maintaining there is a proposal for extension to reach Southeast, just a proposal. Senate apparently uncovered a budget scam as the country Inspector General Police last week presented fake documents during the 1st of 2025 appropriation bill presentation to the upper chamber. Elsewhere, Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, last Wednesday said he couldn't defend nor endorse Tinubu administration economic policies, suggesting they are shambolic.
On the African continent, attackers suspected to be members of Boko Haram last Wednesday launched an assault on Chad's presidential complex in N'Djamena, leaving 19 dead, with another 6 persons seriously injured. Gunmen stormed the presidential villa and attempted to overrun security personnel. 18 members of the attacking gang died, while 1 security person was killed. ECOWAS will formalize Mali's withdrawal next week, initiate the separation procedure, signaling the country's pull out from the sub-regional organization. Mali's notice of withdrawal was served during ECOWAS 66th session held in Abuja on December 15, 2024, in accordance with Article 91 of the revised ECOWAS Treaty. Mali will cease to be a member of ECOWAS on January 29, 2025. Burkina Faso leader, military president Ibrahim Traoré, has announced the outlawing of French as official language, as well as the ban on Burkinabe judges from wearing French British-styled wigs in courts. Burkina Faso and Niger plan to join Mali to officially withdraw from ECOWAS. Meantime, the Director General, World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonkwo-Iweala, has said that Nigeria and Ghana and 2 other unnamed African countries are poised to reap significant economic benefits from artificial intelligence, with potential gains exceeding $136 billion. Ghana last week conferred her citizenship on over 300 foreign nationals, all of which are all white.
Britain Financial Service Minister Tulip Siddiq has resigned over allegation of financial misconduct and corruption, even as Labour Party is accused of shedding child welfare, children and families Minister Janet Dabi, who faces queries from anti-corruption watchdogs, even with Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has been entangled in controversy of inappropriate sexual behavior. All these are happening when the UK is engulfed in attack by Muslim fundamentalists, sparking counter-accusations of Islamophobia. Anti-immigration campaigners and white nationalists must have learned a immigration march in March as the trial of Hazel Ruda Kubana, the Southport murder suspect, is due to commence tomorrow. Meanwhile, Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, nomination for knighthood is receiving widespread condemnation from the wider British public. On a positive note, British Home Secretary Viet Copper has announced an action plan to expose grooming gangs. Under the new plans, more victims will be given the power to have their cases re-examined, allowing police forces to pursue offenders and secure justice for victims and survivors. Across the Atlantic, Donald Trump will be inaugurated the 45th President of the United States tomorrow, at a time the US begins the process to ban transgender students from women and girls sports as House passes bill. The return of President Trump to the White House has been widely acclaimed as one of the greatest political comeback of all time. Arousing huge global interest, however, thousands gathered in Washington DC yesterday to protest Trump inauguration in a rebrand of 2017 Woman March, when some estimated 500,000 protesters took to the streets of the capital city at the start of Mr. Trump's first photos on your inauguration. We at the UK Timeout wish Trump and his team every success and good luck. That's Newsbeat this week. Many thanks for listening. Stay tuned at the UK Timeout on Radio Biafra continues.
Welcome back. You're listening to the UK Timeout on Radio Biafra. I'm your host, Ikechukwu Nwokoro. Thank you very much, Mwada Oge and Mazi Nonso for the news beats. We are going into the People's Parliament segment, which is where we discuss the topic of the week. And today's topic is an interesting one: homecoming. Transformational move towards the restoration of our sovereignty, Biafra restoration. There's a growing rallying call for Ndibo to think home and look home. The saying goes, east or west, home is best. This is a philosophy that is natural to Ndibo as a people. Sadly, we seem to have lost our ways a great deal, succumbing to man-made excuses and shying away from our innate responsibility of looking after our own homeland. The result has been that our once vibrant, secure towns and safe villages have become desolate, with obsolete infrastructure, especially in terms of security, leaving little to write home about. And worse still, now some places are becoming den of criminality, even a death trap. Flight is favored to fighting for survival and sustenance. We appear to have forsaken our fatherland literally, prompting and promoting invasions and incursions by alien forces, those seeking to sack the remnant of our communities and take over our ancestral land and heritage. God forbid. But thankfully, there has been a renaissance of sorts in the last few years with renewed faith of rebuilding our Igbo nation. This time we have to make it work for real. With me in the studios tonight is a very experienced community leader here in the UK. And another one, a promoter of our community and the think home philosophy back in our homeland. The guest from homeland is struggling the same issue of communication and technology. I've done the bit I can to assist, but is really struggling to get on this platform. But I'm delighted to welcome our guest here in the UK, a brother and a friend who has served our people meritoriously and continues to serve in different capacities. Saokandu, may I invite you to please unmute yourself and greet our great listeners, your beloved people, on this occasion of our discussion. You're welcome, sir.
Am I coming out clear?
Yes, very loud and clear.
Okay. Ndị Igbo, ekele m unu, my name is Chief Charles Kelechi Okando. I'm the immediate past president of Igbo Union Yorkshire in the north of England. I'm also a member of the board of trustees of Obakondo Igbo UK. I hail from Bakala, Umuahia in Abia State, and I live here in the north of England in West Yorkshire. Ndewo,
Machineke, you're most welcome. Let me start by asking you, or rather saying a very happy new year to you and your family and loved ones. I do hope that you had a very Merry Christmas as well. Did you travel home this past Christmas? If you didn't, I'm very sure that you sent messages.
No, I didn't. I usually travel home after the Christmas. So as we speak, I'm making my travel plans. I go after Christmas. But yes, as is customary, it's our culture. I'm a strong believer in the mantra and the maxim of Kurulo. So as is customary with our people, during time of festivity like Christmas, we do try as much as possible to reach out to extended family and my immediate community. Yes, I did.
It is the choose. Christmas age and you do that very customary, as you said. And I wish you safe journey on your travel home. And also a very safe return. And that is what we're here promoting, homecoming. But also, maybe I may ask, your reason for preferring to travel after Christmas. Obviously the dust have settled a little bit, presumably. Has that got anything to do with security? Did you get any feedback from home during the Christmas what the security situation was like?
Of course, yes, we keep tabs with what's going on in our homestead. I think it's a traditional thing. I think it's also related to the work I do. It's not always easy to get the kind of time I want to spend at home during the Christmas period. So I'm not a fan of traveling home and hurrying back. So I like to relax, look around, do some projects whenever I go home. So the best opportunity for me is usually after Christmas and before the new leave year kicks in April. So yeah, it's basically for personal reasons.
Obviously, security is no doubt a major incentive for homecoming. Development and investment projects, like we said, in anyone's homeland. You must do your risk assessment, and the security indices is top on the list. What is your overall assessment of the present security situation in Alibo?
Honestly, it's madness. It's sad reading and hearing about what our homeland has become. So I hear people talk about Abia is safe, Ebonyi is safe, this place is safe, that place. But what we don't realize is that we Igbos are very much interconnected. So if Anambra is not safe, even if you live in another part of Igbo land, you cannot say because your own part of Igbo land is safe, it's okay. No. We all do have friends and extended family. It's not uncommon for you to want to spend Christmas in Abia State, and before you finish your stay, you would have, if not a ceremony or a visit in Anambra or in Ebonyi, or, so we go to all the states in Alibo are all interconnected, one way or the other. So, so if any part of Igbo land is unsettled, then the whole of Igbo land is unsettled. That's the way I see it.
Absolutely. Injustice to one is injustice to all. And yes. We are one. As you rightly said, that official boundaries will never separate us. Even Igbos we'll come to that later, Igbos in the so-called South-South geopolitical zone, and even the Middle Belt or North Central, there are still Igbos. And I can guarantee you there are some of us also in the Southwest region that have been zoned into states that are currently in the Southwest. But let's talk about ourselves. I'm sure you are aware of the great work of the Eastern Security Network. This Christmas, the IPOB leadership mobilized the ESN to not just only secure our forests, bushes, farmlands, which is their primary assignment, but also to provide additional security in the community. The feedback I got, I monitored it extensively and also supported, contributed to ensure it was a success. And it was a huge success. There was relative peace and calm all through the period, but unfortunately, because they had to retreat back to their base after the New Year, and then hell was let loose. All the insecurity we have recorded, we are still gathering in all the data, was mostly after the ESN withdrew back to their base. This is a huge lesson. It shows that the enemies are always around us. When we've been saying that they've engulfed our land, people think it's exaggeration or a joke. It is not. Many honest Igbo leaders have acknowledged the timely intervention of the ESN in pushing back this marauding Fulani killer jihadists since early 2021. How do you perceive the contribution of the ESN in mitigating insecurity in Alibo?
Well, I don't see myself as an insider in matters concerning the intricacies of security in our homeland, but all I can say is that whatever effort that goes into securing Igbo land is very welcome. I know that many communities, including my own community, are all engaged in vigilante efforts and all that. So it is something that we need to do. I remember many years back when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu made that call for securing Igbo land. I was a supporter of that call then. But since he was taken away, we all know how things have descended to chaos and all that. So I strongly believe that any genuine and honest effort to secure our people from all the security threat that has engulfed Igbo land is welcome, and I support it. So I know IPOB and ESN, I know that you have been strong stakeholders in terms of security in Igbo land. So the only advice I can give is that whatever needs to be done, whatever efforts ESN is making to make sure that all these fifth columnists and all the people or groups that are using the issue of securing Igbo land as a ploy to extort our people, to murder our people, to keep once peaceful homeland, turn it to what it is now. It's a commendable effort. I think it should be commended by every right-thinking Igbo son or daughter.
Absolutely. Once a supporter of good will or good project, always a supporter, and I'm sure you are. Right now, you're correct in your assessment, since the criminal kidnapping of Onyendumas Nnamdi Kanu and the unlawful incarceration has been in nearly 4 years. We faced a lot of battles, infiltration, sponsored infiltration, deliberate, intentional infiltration, just to see if they can kill the spirit of Biafra and spread it. To Chukwukadena be the glory, they didn't succeed and they will never succeed. So we're still counting on support of good community leaders and people like your humble self. The absence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu indeed hasn't changed a lot. IPOB is very strong on the ground under the leadership structure that Nnamdi Kanu himself set up, and we glorify Chukwukadena for that. Do you think that the current crop of Igbo political elite fully appreciates the importance of the ESN and IPOB? Why are they not supporting the ESN the same way the Yoruba political and socio-cultural leaders did and still do support Amoteku?
My straight answer to that is it doesn't look like they are doing so. The reasons for that is what I don't really understand, because I think that the present crop of political leadership we have in Igbo land, honestly, in the years I can remember, I keep asking myself, because I try to look back to the years of Chief Simon Bakwe, the First Republic, Second Republic, times of even Okpara period is too far back. I'm even talking as recently as the 80s, when you had Simon Bakwe and the likes. Even as recently as the days of Chuba Okadigba, we had men who will come out and speak, and people will listen. We had political leaders from the southeast who will not, when things are going wrong, they will use their weight and influence to make sure that things are put, when things are going wrong, they are put right. So I ask myself, with what is going on in Igbo land now, I still don't understand how the present crop of political leaders, what they are doing, and why they feel comfortable with a lot of things that are going on in our homestead. So to answer your question, I don't think they are doing enough. I don't understand why there has not been the kind of frustration that we have. They don't feel it. It doesn't appear it looks like there's a very big disconnect between the people they claim they are leading, we the citizens of our Igbo nation, and the people that are our political leaders, because apparently they are not doing anything to the cries of the people. They are not responding to the cries of the people. So I do not think that they are doing enough. I think there's need for the governors of the Southeast, for instance, to sit together and decide what they need to do. We call all the stakeholders. For instance, I don't understand why Mazen and the Kanu is still detained. No matter what anybody thinks about it, he is one of us, he is our son. The way Nigeria is structured is such that people put their nationalities first before the federation called Nigeria. That's how our brothers play it. So it's only in Igbo land that we talk about who will be the first to condemn our own person. But I have friends and contacts and connections in other parts of Nigeria. They don't play it the way we play it. So when common issues that concern us as a nation, our Igbo nation, when issues that concern us come up, it is we Igbos that will be the first to start bringing issues that other people will put behind and fight a common enemy first before we now resolve our issues back home. So that's just the problem I have with our political leadership now.
Right. Just to, yeah, very correct. Just to chip in there that the Southeast governors in particular, they are profiting hugely from the insecurity. It's not just that they politicize insecurity, they are making a lot of economic gains for themselves and their cronies out of insecurity. We have it on good authority from IPOB intelligence, how much increase their security votes have gone up since Onyendu was renditioned, incarcerated, and since October 2022 that he won his legal battle, discharging and acquitting him, and they are still holding him in illegal detention. They have increased security vote massively for the governors. Some of them, I will mention them. And it was these same governors, out of their envy, or should I say, resentment for IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, and DSN that formed in December 2020, ran quickly, instead of embracing the ESN and working in collaboration, as the Yorubas did, Amotekun, I gave as reference, formed a Bubagu, which turned out to be a thorn in our people's flesh. It wasn't sustainable. Then the states started forming separate vigilante groups. You were very correct when you said that each community, each town, almost each village, have their own linche, traditionally that would be using, and that should have been maintained as well. While we have a more formidable regional security aspect, which ESN represented, to fight the battle of protecting the boundaries, the bushes, the farms, and all the rest of it. But the governors wouldn't. They formed their kamikaze arrangement just for money and for their own self-ego promotion. Soludo set up the AVG in Anambra, which was a nightmare. Then since then he has deformed the AVG, reformed another one. The latest is now the operation Udodi and all the other things they are doing. You, on face value, you think they are doing something, but inwardly it's all about personal gains. And these same governors cannot even spend a whole week in Alibo without dashing to Lagos and Abuja, Soludo, and Uzodinma in particular. So we know what the game they are playing. Unfortunately, as you rightly pointed out, they are playing at the expense of our people, and they are not even playing smartly enough as others, our contemporaries, I don't know what to call them, compatriots in the Federation are doing. Anyway, homecoming, the call for homecoming has been widely applauded because we need to come back home. And some people have seen it as a form of brain drain reversal project. How could this paradigm be sustained to greater effects? How can, or rather, let me put it this way, what are the prerequisites that must be prioritized by individuals, organizations, communities, and the government itself to attract our people back home and bring investment to our homeland?
Well, the security issue we've been talking about is paramount. That's one of the most important things that needs to happen, because before people start bringing in their money and investments, what happens is that people take an experimental trip back home. We need to, there are many of our brothers and sisters who have been away for so many years, and by nature, by our heritage, an Igbo person, a true Igbo person, will always yearn for home. If the circumstances are right, they will, if you any Igbo man or woman that doesn't come home, if you dig deeper, there must be some reasons for it. There's nobody that has the resources and all things equal, and you're able, you always want to congregate with your kith and kin back home. So the first thing that happens is that people will visit home, look around, travel around, which is what I was alluding to in my earlier statement about people being comfortable that one part of Igbo land is safe, or maybe the part they are is safe and other places are not safe. When our people come home, they move around, look around, explore, research, and all that. So that's what needs to happen first. But a lot of people, those of us that venture home from time to time, can be classed as the brave ones. There are other people who are overly cautious. You don't blame them. From the reports we get in mainstream media and social media, it's enough to dissuade anybody from wanting to venture home. So the first thing that needs to be done is for the government, our political leadership, to find a way, work together with stakeholders like yourselves. I don't understand why people are not happy to dialogue. People are not happy to bring people on the table to discuss. It's just like you said, because of personal ego or selfish reasons. If all of us as Igbos, if we put our individual differences behind and think for once in the interest of our homeland, then there's nobody you won't be happy to sit down and talk with, because by then all we are talking about is you know? So if that happens, if that enabling environment is created, then people will begin to think about investing back home. Until that is done, it can't work. Even if just a few people, maybe those who are brave, can send in resources or finance and investments to develop an Igbo. But I think things are beginning to change. The only problem, the biggest problem we have now is the insecurity issue. From what has been going on in other parts of the country, I think there is a new awakening. There is a reawakening now in people that look, it's important for you to invest in your homeland. And a lot of it is happening. I've noticed, I've been monitoring the situation, the number of estates, estate developments, that is happening in various parts of many states in the east. It never used to be like that. We are beginning to see more of it. So when all those property development is happening, then it shows that that there is investment coming in. But I think we need to take it a step further. We need a situation where the various state government, I don't know why it has suddenly become difficult for the governors in the southeast to work together. When we were growing up in Nigeria, it was common to see there used to be a bank owned by the southeastern states. In the past, political even after there was another I can't remember now, but
I think Progress as well.
Exactly, yeah. So suddenly this also evidences what I said earlier. For some reason, instead of us making progress, it looks as if we are retrogressing in terms of working as a close-knit entity. We Igbos, our political leadership, I can't remember in the past two republics, certainly since after the military the takeover from the military in 1999, I'm not aware of any joint developmental effort by states of the southeast. I don't know why that is so. So the reason I'm saying this is that sometimes you hear about demolitions here and there of houses, and I read a sorry situation about somebody who heeded the call to invest in the east, and after making the investment, the houses were demolished and all that. I'm not saying people should be lawless and go against the town planning rules and all that, but there needs to be a well-coordinated push to attract diaspora investments. So what that means is that the state governments should make sure that they secure the businesses and the investments of people when they heed that call to come down home. And what that also means in extension is that a situation where an Igbo investor will put money somewhere and it gets demolished will not be there, because the person will not have to pour money into a place that is not secure in the first place. So it is when you make it like an individual thing, disjointed, and people now moving individually, that's when things like that happen. So what that shows is a lack of government support, a lack of a well-coordinated push to attract diaspora investment into Igbo land.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think you've really dissected that issue of enabling environment, the level of the involvement of state government and officials, clearly not encouraging, and that a lot of what we see happening is more of private sector initiative and efforts of people, and our people look up to diaspora Igbo in particular for these investments to come in. And as a leader here, which all of us have together, I know that being a founding member and board of trustee of Obakondibo, myself as well, that we have the vision and also the mission to bring about this investment, real investment as Akurulo prescribes. Do you think that diasporan Igbo groups have been motivated enough, let me not say incentivized, motivated enough to engage in Akurulo, practically beyond the rhetorics? And if the groups are working, because we have so many groups here in diaspora, which is another problem with us, labor, are they working in sync? Are they working in partnership?
First of all, the first part of your question, whether they are motivated. Yes, I think, like I said, diasporans are motivated to invest back home. What is left is that coordination, that enabling environment. There needs to be policy statements. There needs to be, it's not when you say whether they are motivated. Motivation, self-motivation is one. What I described about people investing individually and getting their hands burnt, getting their fingers burnt is part of it. That's individual motivation, personal motivation. But I think the motivation that is required, most importantly, is the motivation of hearing what environment has been created, what support is available, so that your own part will just be to bring in the capital, or even sometimes it doesn't even have to be individual capital. Even the governments, the various governments can even create schemes that diasporans can utilize to be able to, there are various ways you can do that, but that needs to, that structure has to be there. There has to be strong policy decisions that are setting all these things up. So I think that's what is mostly needed. Regarding the groups in diaspora, again, yes, by our nature, there are people. As a community leader myself here, I'm aware that there are some of our sons who, just for the reason of maybe wanting to be in a position of leadership or for whatever personal reasons, who rather want to float their own ship than contribute to the one that is available. That's a tendency that has been with us. It's something we need to do something about, but I don't think it is a reason for us to, it's not that's something we can work on. Under the auspices of Obako, for instance, I think in Obako in the UK, we are happy to work with other Igbo groups. When that environment, when that favorable environment is created, Obako is certainly a forum or a vehicle, a tool that can be used to bring other Igbo groups and individuals together to be able to support that, give our home governments or whatever vehicle that has been put in place to attract these investments. We are happy to liaise with them. We're happy to work from this end, So it's a case of all hands being on deck. But to round up my submission on your question, yes, I think unlike before, due to certain things, due to some political developments, due to things that has been happened and has happened in both the recent and recent past and previously, the diaspora Igbos are more aware I think every developmental effort, every revolutionary, everything that brings progress, change, starts with awareness. So even though action may not have commenced, even in sizable measures, the awareness is there, and that is a start. That is a good start. That's how change starts. So the first thing is that people are aware now. People are becoming more aware of the need to invest in our homeland. So what remains to be done now is to take it a notch further by turning that awareness into positive action. And then in fact, in the long run, what we think is a disadvantage of the several diaspora groups and organizations can be turned into an advantage, because we here in the diaspora, we know how we can plug these holes, plug these gaps, and use it to our own advantage as Igbos.
Yeah, that's correct. We know the saying that a hungry man is an angry man. We know also the much damage that the weaponization of poverty and hunger has done to the psyche of our people, the average Igbo person in Igbo land today. One of the missions of the IPOB have actually promoted the formation of the ESN to secure our farmlands and the bushes is the call for our people to go back to the farm itself. Farming, which is one of our own traditional occupations, so that we can produce what we feed our people. Once our people are well fed and healthy, every other progress will be a layer on top of that. In your own assessment, do you think our people are ready, as things stand now, to heed this call of return home to our farmland? Not so, because they're not going to look for any white-collar job to begin with. We have to get our hands dirty, if I borrow your phrase, which is a very apt one. Do you think our people are ready, given this present generation, the Gen Zs of Jindigo, who love get rich quick syndrome like nothing else? Egombute, Okite, all the other things they want to get rich. A 16-year-old boy wants to ride the best car in the next 6 months. So, is this going to be practicable to get our people, share our youth, back to basics so that we can rebuild from the foundation?
I would think yes, because we've done it before during the Biafran War. I don't want to mention names, but I've read what some prominent people from other parts of Nigeria said recently, that the most regarding the hardship Nigeria is going through under the present administration. He said that the most ready people for the situation of things in Nigeria are the Igbos, because we are used to it, we've done it before. So yes, I think even as we speak, it brings us still back to the issue of security, because I'm sure it's like that in other parts of Igbo land. Where I come from, there's something we call Ubi, which is like an area far, sometimes many miles away from where the citizens live. So every family has vast acres of farmland in those places. So you go and farm your own space every so number of years. So what is happening now is that, going by my own experience, the farming that is taking place is just farming around the neighborhood. So for those people who have farmlands or fallow land around the home, they just develop it and farm it. People are now afraid to go to Ubi to farm because of kidnappings and all we have been hearing, the state of insecurity. So that is very bad. That is bad news for our people, because it's not, I don't think it's a matter of not being able to farm. I don't think it's a matter of laziness. I think it's just a matter of the environment or the atmosphere not being conducive. People don't feel safe enough to embark on such aggressive and large-scale farming like we used to do. Talking about the hunger in the land too, because of the distance of these places. I remember as a child growing up, our grandfathers used to have obaji. In those places, you see rows and rows and rows of yam, because of the difficulty in transporting the harvested yam to the community. They just take it in the farmlands there, So a lot of things that used to, the absence of security is not just physical security that we're talking about now. Food security is endangered because of the absence of physical security. So all these things are interconnected. So that's where the problem is. I was discussing with somebody the issue of lack of power in Nigeria. It's unimaginable what you are going to unlock if there is a constant power supply. It is the same with security. So when you guarantee physical security within the community, within an environment, it will unlock other forms of security, including food security. So that's where the problem lies right now.
Yes, and this is where the target of insecurity in Igbo is mostly on our vibrant youth, male in particular, who should be the manpower that you need for agriculture or any other sort of agriculture, not just farming.
Yes.
Once that is depleted, even with all the machinery, because now we're talking of mechanized farming, I don't think this generation is ready for manual farming and how sustainable will that be. But you still need the manpower, and that is where the security of life and property is very, very key, central to us achieving.
Yeah.
I agree with you also that yes, I think our people can get reorientation with the necessary direction. It won't be too difficult to get people back into what is meaningful. They just want somebody to run the test and prove to them that this is viable, this is profitable. This will take them to that same vision of wealth that they are all fighting, trying to get the shortcut up to. I believe that orientation can do the magic, but security is paramount, key to any other thing. We need to preserve the lives of our young people, who will provide the manpower, and then we supply the machinery to go with a meaningful agricultural revolution, if you ask me. Our people need to go back to agriculture big time, not just farming. It's not just crop farming, animal farming and the rest. Because what brought about this insecurity, well, they came as herdsmen, bringing you animal protein, where our people no longer eat protein that we can produce for, over 2 decades. I can guarantee we've been dependent on almost 100%, 99% on animal protein coming from up north and the Sahel. And if it is he that feeds you has a lot of control over you and your destiny. That's what we need to reverse. Yeah. Let me quickly inform our listeners. Thank you very much, Sir Okando, for that particular answer and also your contribution overall. Dear listeners, you are still listening to the UK Timeout on Radio Biafra. We will open the phone lines in the next 4 minutes. And those who are regular listeners, you know the numbers already, but I'll still call it out. If you're in the UK, you are best to call direct on the number 0744 81 83 132. I take that again. 074 481 83 132. You can call that direct. You may also call on WhatsApp via that same number. And for callers from outside of the United Kingdom, you are best advised to call that number on WhatsApp by putting the country code +44 then 744 81 83 132. For WhatsApp only, please don't call on Telegram. If you wish to call on Telegram from outside of the UK, you can dial +44 781 779 6032 +44 781 779 6032. And if you are in the UK as well, you may try that number only on direct call, please. Direct call. Don't try it on Telegram, so that those from outside of the UK can have the Telegram line free to reach us. We'll be glad to hear your own experience and also how you think that Akurulo Homecoming Initiative in this year of our Lord 2025 can be put to practical realization. I think all the groundwork has been done. We just need a enabling environment which our authorities back home should provide. Some of us are ready, including the IPOB, we are ready for meaningful engagement, meaningful discussions on what will truly bring help to our people. Our people are dying. We are fighting to restore Biafra for the living, not for the dead. We have no interest in the death of one single Biafran or Igbo person. Otherwise, what are we fighting for? Mazi, you mentioned something that really touched me, and you're very correct. I think I made a note myself earlier on that some people have had, or some returnees who came with good intention to answer their Kurula call have had horrendous tales of woes to narrate from experiences, lived experiences, while they try to bring businesses and investment back home. The issue of distrust, dishonesty, the greed that we mentioned, and other factors from our own people. Now let's leave the government aside. Talk about our own people. You bring your hard-earned resources. Some of them could be loaned from banks, or you sold, businesses and property to raise capital. Then to bring business back home to create employment for our youth, and also help feed our people. Some people are ready to run it down in a week and even kill you in the process. How could this be reversed?
I would take my answer in two parts. One part of it is reorientation. I think it still boils down to one, the lack of I would describe it as maybe an organized scheme. If this issue we are discussing about diasporans investing in our homeland has to be successful, then it's not going to be done in a haphazard manner. It does need concerted maybe government, or maybe it doesn't just have to be government, but it has to be an arrangement, a corporate arrangement that will make sure that all the due diligence is done. It should not be left in the hand of individuals to do it as a family thing or that kind of, so it needs to be well arranged, well packaged in such a way that all the corporate governance surrounding the investment has to be done. That is one. Then reorientation. When I say reorientation, what I mean is educating people, making people understand that this is the goal we are trying to achieve. So if that is done, I believe that both the investor and people who will benefit from this investment will have shared objectives. It's like a mutual arrangement that will benefit both parties. So when that understanding is reached, I think it may go a long way in reducing the issue we are talking about now, about mistrust and losses arising from these investments. But another thing is, no matter the amount of reorientation you do, some people have criminal tendencies. So again, if a good arrangement is structured, if this thing is packaged in such a way that it's not haphazard and it's not based on individual whims, I think that way we'll be able to also make sure that those with criminal tendencies are not handed an opportunity on a platter of gold. I was listening to a presentation from one of our brothers who is a well-known entrepreneur regarding a new business arrangement he set up, and for which he was inviting investors. So I think the example I'm talking about is using vehicles and assorted types of vehicles, including the popular keke, depending on when you were born, which one to call it. So he was saying that all you need to do is to invest your money. They provide the personnel to operate it for you. They make the returns for you. No story, So that way, they have taken away that risk factor. You have. I know that nothing. I know no investment is 100% guaranteed, but at least some due diligence will go into that before they provide an operator to handle the vehicle for you. I'm sure they would have gone into some details in vetting and making sure that whoever is going to operate that vehicle is somebody that has been is secure. So the investor coming from diaspora doesn't have the capacity and the structure to be able to attain that level of verification which this entrepreneur has done. So using that as an example, those are the kind of ways in which what we're talking about can be curtailed. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't, I know some people will point fingers and say it's Igbos cannot be trusted, but the truth is that human nature is like that. Even in this environment where we live, we've all had stories about MPs that has gone to jail for misappropriation of funds and all kinds of misdemeanor and crimes. So what it shows is that humans by their nature are prone to criminality. and dishonesty. It is a system. It is the system that has been put in place that is a deterrent. It is the system that stops people from doing certain things. It is not that Igbos or
yeah,
they don't have
law. People are savages, isn't it?
Exactly. So it cuts across ethnicities and all that. So yeah, it's just to put systems in place. These things are not rocket science. It can be done.
Absolutely. Talking about reorientation of our next generation or our youth, the present one here. It will be about re-educating them, or rather incorporating it in the educational curriculum, to cling to the virtues of hard work, honesty, humility, and also humanity, because they have to build this up right from kindergarten, if you like, and then they grow with it.
Yes.
Presently, the way there has been a total disconnect from even our traditional values, from people who are, say, from anybody that is, no disrespect to age, 25 years and below, they are completely disconnected. So, I mean, that is a topic for another day altogether. But looking at homecoming, would it be a catalyst to rekindle the interest of our children and young persons born overseas? But that's also another issue, to develop sustainable interest in our homeland. Many of them, I don't know whether you can say the same thing from my own little survey, many of our children born here have very little interest in our homeland. They see it as Dad's holiday home or house. And they do go there, maybe if you're able to convince them and you're able to plan and take them once in a while, they enjoy it, but they don't look at it as futuristic, where they can go back, invest, and even return to, which is the whole essence of Akurulo. Akurulo is not just about the material wealth, returning it, it's also about returning the human capital, which is the greatest.
Yes, I think on that one, I think that boils down to the micro environment. What I mean by micro environment is the family. So that is a failure of parenting. I think where we will need to start that reorientation is at the home front, because it starts from, similar to what we are talking about, teaching our children to speak Igbo. It's also important for, if a child grows to teenage age and they are not interested in going home, I think I will blame that on the parents, because you need to, it's the way they have been brought up that they will grow with. I started from a very young age to take my children to Igbo meetings.
And the language could be a big barrier. If they can't speak Igbo or any native language, I mean, what they worry, how do I communicate? How do I relate?
Yeah, you shouldn't allow your children to grow to the age where they will decide that going to our homeland is something that is not of interest to them. So I will urge parents, because once you get to that level, once they get to adulthood in the West here, 18, 19, it's difficult for you. It's not like back home. You're going to find it hard to enforce your rule on them. So the way to do that is to start from time. Don't alienate them. Some people will dress up and go to meeting thinking is an adult thing, but you need to bring up your children in such a way that they will become familiar with such gatherings of our people. the need to be around anything Igbo, assuming you are not able to take them back to Nigeria regularly, which for a nuclear Igbo family, I know that's a major expense. Flying a whole family and spending time in Nigeria, it does cost a fortune. So it's not even diaspora family that can afford that. But the least you can do in the absence of taking them home is to make them, don't alienate them from cultural things. Don't make them become familiar and comfortable in Igbo surroundings. That's the first step from my own experience. So if you attend meetings and you take them along and they get a feel for what being Igbo means, it will prevent a situation where what you are describing now becomes the norm. That's my own advice from personal experience. And it is for this reason, in my union, Igbo Union Yorkshire, we have in our meeting space, we have a place for children. We have the children's class where they are taught our language. And before I handed over at the end of last year, I made sure we also secured a place for the youth. So on our meeting days, you have the adults, fathers and mothers, meeting in one hall. You have the children being taught in a different hall. Then you have the youth in another meeting room, all within the same place. So that way, even if they come there and socialize and you think they are not, it's being in that environment matters, and that's when the time comes, you get to know.
100%. Similar to what we have here in Leicester as well. During my time as the president of the Leicestershire, we started in 2010. And I'm glad that my successors have maintained it, and we are still doing it despite even COVID. Obviously, we improve, and one of the things Obako does is to exchange these ideas so that what is good in one county or city can be replicated in the rest of and that way we get there. 2010 till now, I can't believe 15 years is gone already. And imagine children born within that period, and if they've been sustained that way, you've done almost 85-90% of the job. You need to get them honed and keyed into our ways, our culture, our orientation, our education, and everything they need to, including our history.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Dear listeners, as I said, the lines are open, and the numbers to call are 0744 8183 132. Direct line from the UK only. You may also try that number on WhatsApp. If you are calling from outside of the UK, just add the country code without the 0. That will be +44 744 8183 132. And if you are calling on Telegram, the number to call from outside of the UK is +44 781 77 9602. Callers from within the United Kingdom can also call that number 078-177-96032 directly. To reach us, we are discussing Homecoming, a transformational move towards the restoration of our sovereignty, the restoration of our nation, Biafra, the restoration of our independence, including economic independence of our homeland, Igbo land. And my guest tonight is Chief Charles Okando, the immediate past president of Igbo Union Yorkshire and a member of the Board of Trustees of Obako Igbo. United Kingdom and Ireland. A good brother and a friend indeed, in the service of our community with a vision for a better future for our children, our children's children. Tifukando, I must thank you once again. You talked about this reorientation, creating awareness. The media has a huge role to play in doing that. What are the real impacts the media is making in promoting Akurulo mantra and encouraging homecoming? The social media in particular is rife with negativity. I mean, that's what it's created for. Let's say bad news is sells. So all the things people see in social media about our homeland, unfortunately, has been largely negative, about kidnapping, ritual murder, all the negative things. How may that impact achieving Akurulo and homecoming?
Thank you for that question. It's a very important question. Unfortunately, I don't think we as Igbos appreciate the power of the media. What I mean by that is still something that aligns with my previous submission that as political leadership in Igbo land and as governments, we have not seemed to understand how powerful the media can be and the role it can play in molding public opinion and in molding people's perception about any subject or any issue at all, or any society. So what we have as media presently is just individuals, mostly in social media, who fortunately or unfortunately, depending on the way you're looking at it, because by primarily media, whoever sets up the media has an objective. So it is what you present is based on your goal and the objective for which you set up that media vehicle. So in terms of Akurulo, there needs to be a concerted effort and plan to set up a media tool or a media vehicle that will propagate the virtues and try to mold public perception to appreciate and understand what you are aiming to achieve by Akurulo. So that right now is not in existence either by public or private ownership.
Actually, there is. Our second guest for today, Chief Chus Ibebu, who unfortunately is just still struggling to get through to us, is the founder and the head of Akurulo Media International. That is, he and his group's specialty is to provide positive communication, correct information and direction to people on Akurulo, Unfortunately, he's not able to join us because I've got some specific questions for him regarding the work of Akurulo Media International. I wouldn't want to preempt or hazard any guess, no matter how educated the guest might be, on what they're doing. Maybe some other day we'll bring him on, because, as you rightly said, the media has a pivotal role to play, and that needs to be intentionally carved out. And then, whoever is doing it, like I say, whether it's private initiative, also the public, the government has media. People are paid as from commissioner level of information. Now we have commissioner for different type of information, IT and the rest of them, tourism and the rest of them, and still they are not able to put things together so that people can be reassured that yes, this project is not just individuals selling it to me. There's a partnership, there is a contribution from the government, and I'm getting an assurance of safety, security of my life first, and the investment I'm bringing home.
Yes, I was coming to that. The media organs owned by the government, they forget the role they should play. What happens is that the state government media, for instance, now become a mouthpiece for the governor or the government of the day. So try both the ones that are true and the ones that are not. It becomes a propaganda machinery for the government.
Yes.
That is not the role the media should, the true media should play, but that's the way it is used by governments. So I appreciate what you Akurula media you said. It's not, that's a very lofty idea. That's something a good initiative. I'm not familiar with it. I hope that by the time maybe the activities is more publicized and well, people like us, by virtue of my position as a community leader, organizations like that should be able to reach out so that even people in diaspora will know that such media tools exist, and we follow it and be able to spread the word. That's how it should be. So I'm hoping that, unfortunately, my brother is not here today. This would have been an opportunity for me to understand what they do and know how we can help to spread the word. So that's basically what we need to do. We need to set up more media vehicles like that. I'm aware of Njenje Media, and in their own way, they have also been trying to propagate Igbo culture and values. So there's the need for more of such initiatives from, like I said, be it private, be it public. The most important thing is for them to understand and intentionally execute programs and arrangements that will be able to portray Akurulo far and wide, especially in diaspora. I think that's definitely needed.
Yes. I'll ask you a couple of questions. Maybe we have a caller. I'm just still waiting to see if the line is true. But quickly, just soon after the Christmas, or rather immediately after the New Year, the federal government floated a kite, I would say, announcing a proposition that will impose, sorry about loss from my background, impose $500 on each returnee during the, what is now called dirty December, or rather what we know as the Christmas season. Some people say it's a joke, but everything about Nigeria is a joke. I'm sorry, no apologies, but that is what it is. They've announced it, they have hinted the people, and we know the present government of Bola Tinubu is all about taxation, squeezing the last blood out of the dying common man. For this particular policy pronouncement, if you are coming home for Christmas, I think they have a date from 15th of December, thereabout, to 15th of January, so you're lucky, Chief, that you have escaped it. You will pay a taxation of $500 just for visiting your own homeland during this period. Is this policy not an attempt to frustrate homecoming and their Kururo initiative. But everything about Nigeria is always targeting the Igbo man, the Biafran, to bring about frustration to their life.
Did you say $500 or Naira?
Dollars.
Well, I'm just hearing this for the first time. I'm not aware of that policy, and I cannot comment on. I don't know if I take you.
And again, that's where we need the media. But unfortunately, as we said, the media we have, the official one, the government one, is all full of psychophants who think rules. I mean, some forums where even some of my people that we went to university together with back in the days, that you think by now we'll be giving their student unionism and orientation will not tolerate what is going on in the country. Everybody is begging for crumbs and peanuts, and they are ready to sell their conscience, to sing praises for evil people in government and power, and just to maintain them there. So the media will not critically analyze this, even raise the necessary awareness so that the people can rise up against it. They will slip it through the back door, and it will start happening.
I don't think such a policy is even. Well, if you say, was it implemented then? Did it happen?
No, it's proposed to start in 2025. So the question was, well, they called it Dirty, DETTY. I'm sure you've heard about Dirty December. So if they said it's 2025 means, I mean, come on, I'm just thinking, but you never know with Nigeria, I can never predict. It should start December 2025. But even if it's going to start in 10,000 years to come, is this not madness?
No, I will not support such a policy, because, especially from this administration, because yes, it's not unheard of for diaspora to rally to the aid of their home governments, but I unfortunately do not believe that this present government has shown enough honesty in the management of the scarce resources. I don't believe that I will be the one to supplement the excesses of a group of politicians who, for all intents and purposes, are just interested in what they can garner for themselves. So I think if such a policy is implemented, it's just a question of trying to rob us to fund their profligacy, and such things are not things that sit well with me, unfortunately. So I'm not in support of it.
And also, beyond that, I'm just looking at the larger picture, because when you talk about diaspora, Nigerians, in quotes, wherever they are, everybody knows the distribution, the demographic distribution. How many of them are from Fulani? How many are from the other ethnic nationalities or geopolitical zones of the country? A vast majority, more than 75%, are from Igbo. So such a policy is deliberately targeting the Igbo. Imagine you have I read somewhere there's a little by clause in that proposition that, for children, I think below 16, the amount could be like half. It doesn't matter to me. It's nonsense. Assuming you have children grown up, 18, 20, 22, and another 24, 4 of them, and you're traveling with them, with your wife, that's 6 of you, you pay $3,000.
I don't ever believe such a policy. It's even possible to think about, much less implementing. But
I will only say, watch this space. This man in particular,
I agree with you, because
anything can happen.
Such a policy is going to affect our people more significantly than other parts of Nigeria. But with the present crop of politicians, you can see what's going on with the tax reform bill.
Yes.
Some sections of the country feel they are disadvantaged by it, and you can see their governors raising hell, their legislators from that part of the country. They all come together and they are fighting with every venom in their blood against it. Such a policy like the one you're talking about now is going to affect our people more than other sections of Nigeria. But I will be surprised if I won't be surprised if it comes and goes and nobody raises a voice from the southeast against it. So that's the nature of the crop of politicians we have now. You know, if ever that is brought up, I expect our senators and members of the House of Representatives to kick against it. That's what I expect them to do.
Well, God help us, because I don't know what they've actually kicked against before, or kicked in our favor before. Unfortunately, this whole charade of democracy is not for our people. It's not for our people, and people can begin to understand why we, in the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, have looked at it in all ramifications and said the number one goal, or rather the number one solution to all of this nonsense is peaceful separation from the contraption called Nigeria, so that we can, all the time we are wasting patching walls that have massive cracks on them, we can use them to lay a foundation for a new nation for our generations to come. And we are asking that this can be done peacefully. We are not pushing for bloodbath. We are not warmongering. You're not doing anything to solve anybody's problem. Rather, you're causing more frustration, strangulation, like policies like this. People are losing their life unnecessarily. Still, you have said you have a country. I beg to disagree. There was a country, but not anymore for us. Anyway, we are gradually coming to the end of the program. I must sincerely thank you, because it's not easy to hold forth for the job of two people that's supposed to be job shared, and you've done marvelously well. Chief Okando, we appreciate you. We've gotten a few text messages that unfortunately maybe they are trying to get through to us on the line. I don't know which of the lines, but not been able to get through. We still got about 7 minutes to the end of the program, but let me ask you, what would be your honest advice to anybody who is or a will-be investor, entrepreneur trying to set up business back in Igbo land at this present time? It seems like we've lost. I hope I'm coming out clear myself.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm sorry, we lost you momentarily. I was thinking, yes. What is your advice to any will-be investor or entrepreneur that is very desirous to bring back investment to Igbo land at this present time?
My advice would be, don't be deterred. Is the right thinking, is the right thing to do. All I will advise the person to do is to do their due diligence. Sometimes it's not always, there's always the temptation to use family. People must understand that there's a difference between what you do, your dealings and your relationship with family and business. So it's not always right to mix the two together. So if you have investment which you want to take to Igbo, think of it as a business decision and make decisions as you would if you're sitting on a boardroom making business decisions. So if you separate the emotions and the sentiment of friendship, family, and all the other personal and individual relationships from business decisions and business relationship, I think that will go a long way in helping to avoid issues that will make it look as if the decision to bring your investment to Alibo in the first place was wrong. It is not a wrong thing to do, but the way and manner you go about it is very important. There is, I'm aware that there are some groups, schemes that are being set up back home, where people who want to invest at home can access professional support, things you can hand over to your family members. For instance, you can hand it over to a corporate entity who will deal with you on a business-to-business basis. So explore such opportunities, and I think that will help you a long way to prevent some of the issues that make investing back home a regretful adventure.
Yeah, Chief Nice, there's a caller on the line. Please go ahead.
Okay. Let's quickly get the caller through.
Go ahead and speak.
Okay, good evening. My name is Mike Wajago, calling from United Kingdom. I want to react to the issue of people paying $500,000. I mean, $500 or $500,000 because they're coming from outside. I would just want to ask a question. Is it not clear to all of us that what Nigerian government is practicing in Igbo land or against Igbo people or Biafrans is a draconian law, an apartheid law? Apartheid system is going on in Nigeria against Biafrans? Or is it simply because it is a black-to-black issue? Because this color is involved, it will be called apartheid like they did in South Africa. I see no difference. In fact, what is happening in Biafra land is worse than what happened in South Africa during the apartheid era. So what they are practicing against us is the apartheid system, whereby we have no say, whereby we cannot grow, whereby we have a particular level they want us to get to, and that is the end of it. So with this, it must be clear to all of us, both the businessmen and the civil servants, that you have a limit where you can grow to, and you don't grow any further. And the only solution to that is to balkanize Nigeria, that zoological republic, balkanize it. Everybody should go his or her own way, so that we can be able to develop. Because business cannot thrive when the two people that are involved in a business as a company are not agreeing with each other. We don't agree with each other, and those who are making efforts to see that things work, the Biafra, are being downtrodden. And for how long are we going to continue in this? So let our people open their eyes and know that what we are suffering is not different from what they are suffering in South Africa. That's what I want to contribute this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just want to let you know that we finished our meeting in Liverpool, and selling me this opportunity to thank you guys for your great job. Almost a Biafra.
Thank you, Machineke. Thank you for your contribution and also the question. Chief Okando, the question is about, well, you use the word apartheid, and I know economic apartheid, I'll call it, because I just wanted you to react to that question. this policy, if it becomes effective, and I bet you it will, unless there's a serious move against it, it will. Whereas the people that are targeted, who will be mostly indeed but Biafrans, will be made to pay this tax. Others, even when they are returning, can get waivers. You know Nigeria, man, no man. Yes, they give them form to pay. They fill the form. They've not paid anything. Same thing they do at your high commission, they call embassies. Not everybody pays the fee they pay for passport. People get waivers. And who get the waivers? Of course, you can. Your guess is as good as mine. Will any Biafran or any Igbo person get a waiver? Go and check. So I don't know what your reaction is to that question from Maz Mike.
Yeah, I agree that it will disproportionately affect Ndi Igbo more than other ethnicities in Nigeria, but I'm still skeptical about this so-called policy. At what point is it going to be implemented? If I decide I am traveling to Nigeria, for instance, are you going to is it when I land at the airport, you want me to pay $500 before I enter Nigeria, which that's easier said than done. People like me, I think you rather I don't know.
It will be done before clearance, and I bet it's going to provide avenue for the staffs at the airport, and even the workers.
No true Igbo man will want to pay that kind of extortionate. I think I doubt even if they want to. I didn't want to respond to this particular because I until it becomes a policy. $500 is a lot of money. Such policies, if it does come into effect, sometimes the amount of money they collect. That's why I asked you: is it $500 or 500 naira? So usually such taxes are, it's wrong. You are not happy to pay this money, but when you look at how much is involved, you will say, let them carry their wahala. So because the amount we are talking about.
The funniest thing is that it's targeted for this period they call dirty.
Yeah. No.
I think why the Christmas period? Because a Muslim has nothing to do with Christmas, isn't it? So they are not coming for Christmas.
There's a lot of fake news for you guys that are in the media. I will urge you to do some more research on it to get the facts, actual facts. I don't want to respond to something that I know it's practically unworkable. It's unlikely to happen because the kind of money you're talking about, I am very, very skeptical about it. But if it does become a policy,
fake news, but it's just madness, I call it. It has a target to discourage people from coming home.
If it becomes a policy, they will hear from us. I personally will kick against it. I would mobilize against it, and I will not support it. That's my personal opinion.
I will join you, and I think the whole IPOB will be behind you. So we are forming a signage.
No, I'm not supporting it.
Yes. All right. Do we have any other callers that managed to come through? I think those who are trying the WhatsApp are experiencing some difficulties. I don't know whether it's network, but also time is fast spent. We are nearly to the close of the program. Yes, we can achieve a peaceful world by embracing justice and fairness. This is what IPOB has been preaching in our evangelism. We can coexist as good neighbors in safe and independent nation states. Nigeria, Biafra, whatever nation that comes out of the contraption called Nigeria today can all exist harmoniously. Countries may have gone to wars to assert their sovereignty, but ultimately conflicts are usually resolved faster in round tables in peace talks. Example, Israel and Palestine war has raged for a while, but the Gaza ceasefire deal that started today was not done through the barrels of the gun or bombshells thrown everywhere. All the missiles that have been thrown all the while, it still comes down to negotiation. This is what IPOB has been asking Nigeria. Negotiation, dialogue, give the opportunity of a right of a people to self-determination to be tested. They're not even saying, just allow the referendum, let the people say what they want. And if the outcome is that, oh, we prefer to remain in Nigeria, then we can now discuss the terms, the remain, and also the new nation that we want to give birth to. But if the people choose to go their separate ways, it can be done peacefully. The Israel-Gaza experience, I'm just coming down, sorry, which was a political truce, I call it. Combined efforts of the United States, Qatar, and Egypt, with the outgoing US President Joe Biden working together and closely with the incoming one, Donald Trump, who will be inaugurated tomorrow, despite their political, ideological differences. They were still able to broker a deal that is now perhaps bringing about peace, convincing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and even the Palestinian team, including the Hamas, that is terrorists, to sheath their sword. So this proves that it can be done. As I said, this is the mantra of IPOB, in pursuant to peaceful...
One second, Master Jude. Just one more caller on the line.
Okay, I'll take him on. Let me just get his statement down, please.
Yeah.
Peaceful, non-violent agitation for the restoration of Biafra. We want to put this narrative into a proper perspective so that everybody will understand and our people will make conscious moves to appreciate the standpoint of IPOB. Why I have to make this statement to Chief Okando is as a community leader, I'm sure he appreciates, but a lot of our people misunderstand IPOB's philosophy and what we are actually fighting for. Let's take our caller before we come back to you, Chief, to round it up.
Go ahead, Master Jude.
Yeah, good evening, Margaret. Nice, and good evening, our guest. My name is Jude. I just want to chip in two things. The first one is regarding the security situation back home. We must have to thank our national coordinator, Martin Nice, and the DUS for the fund that we raised towards the ESN was well utilized. We could realize that all of us were watching and listening to news back home, and there was no problem. The problem that was caused was by the BLA, people, the Biafra Liberation Army, so to speak, as the media said. But apart from that, the good news was there was this exodus, people coming home, there was traffic, and there was no single problem at all. And we also learned that the DUS actually had a very proper security logistics in place. And that was why there was this calmness all over Biafra land. So we must have to resurrect, we must have to resurrect with that. Give ourselves hope that yes, things are moving forward. The second point is regarding my brother. He said that you asked him the question, what plans has he got towards investment back home? And he said that you must do your diligence. You must do your diligence research. And during the last program we had, our European rep promised us that if you are in the UK and you want to invest back home, you need to contact the leadership. Probably they will give you one or two advice on what to do. But I wrote some time ago that, you cannot approach them without being a proper member. You need to pay your dues. You need to be an oath taker. you need to be a proper functional IPOB member. And then if we do that, pay your dues, be a proper IPOB member. When you want to go home, you can get more than what you've been bargained for. So this is actually what I want to let the Biafrans know, that we are moving in the right direction, and the leadership is doing absolutely marvelous work. And the issue of security is we're getting there, and nobody will tell you, oh, well, I'm not sure. No, there's no more play about it. The leadership is getting there, and we must have to support them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mazi, Chief. My people are the ones calling you tonight, and I think it's more of a contribution than any question. He said something very significant that I also want you to please take home and help us push it in the community. At the beginning of the program, you did mention about what happened since William Dumas and Nandekano was illegally kidnapped. And I chipped in to say IPOB is still well intact, but obviously we cannot deny the fact that the Nigerian government spent billions of dollars that would have been useful to provide all the enabling environment that you're talking about, that would have provided soft loan for real investors and entrepreneurs to bring about the actual growth that we're talking about. But they prefer to spend it on chasing Nandekano, IPOB, sponsoring people to infiltrate IPOB, just to destroy that honest, genuine quest for a restoration of a nation that was far in existence before even Nigeria. Creating a picture within people's mind, oh, there is a faction in IPOB. I say it again today, please take it home to our community. There is no faction in IPOB. My brother Akol just mentioned about BLA. They call themselves Biafra Liberation Army or nonsense. These people are not IPOB. They are not connected to Nandekano as far as we know. They are not representing any genuine quest or movement for the peaceful, non-violent restoration of Biafra. These are criminals sponsored by state actors, including our own politicians, quote me anywhere, to cause chaos and promote insecurity. I have already said at the beginning that insecurity is big business for them. They are benefiting and they employ other people in the food chain to also benefit from this security. And so these people called Biafra Liberation Army, they are not IPOB. The people that died the name Autopilot, they have nothing to do with IPOB. So we are making this very clear. IPOB leadership is well intact. In the absence of Nandekano, they have been for 4 years. If not, all the money that Nigeria wasted would have yielded the result they wanted. There would have been any IPOB anywhere in the world. We are still standing. And this month, this year, we are calling on all genuine Biafrans to join hands with IPOB. If you want to be a member, support the way you want to support. Let's work together. Let's separate the chaff from the real wheat. That are people who have genuine love for our people, that want to bring about a positive transformation of our land and our people's lives. So please, this is the message. I think that's what Mazi Jude is saying in a nutshell that I'm summarizing, and that you should also help us to take it home. Everybody asking the question, oh, what about, I don't want to call somebody's name, Simon there, but he's never an IPOB member, was never, and will never be, because of the criminality and the blood in his hands. What he has done to our people, because of greed, avarice, because people are there looking for money. If the likes of us were after material, maybe we would have also been floating in the money now. But what is money without life? What is humanity without dignity and integrity? This is what we represent. So thank you, Mazi Jude. I think that is your message, is worth taking, and I appreciate your contribution. Chifu Kando, please, we'll be rounding up. I know I have kept you longer than we planned. I do appreciate your patience and also your perseverance to reason with us. And most of all, your wonderful contributions from your wealth of experience serving our people. What will be your passing shot, I call it, which is your final message to Ndi Igbo, both at home and abroad?
Thank you, Wachinamu. My last word to my brothers and sisters, both at home and in diaspora, is Bikono Ndi Igbo ka anyị asa anyị ka ọma mere ya bụ ụfụfụ. Let us join hands in whatever walk of life you find yourself. Let us think Igbo first. Let us find ways to better our lot as a people. We find ourselves in a country where decisions are not taken in the overall interest of the people living there. So, in the politics of Nigeria, this is my personal opinion, and I don't hesitate to say it to whoever cares to listen. I think that we Igbos are not as strategic as our neighbors in the other parts of Nigeria when it comes to the politics of being Nigerian or living in Nigeria. So we need to be more strategic. We need to work together. We need to stop all this divide and rule. We need to understand when people are working in the overall interest of the Igbo nation. It doesn't matter whether they did it well or how they did it, or what they did right and what they did wrong. As long as the intention is for the betterment of the Igbo nation, we need to understand that we need to join hands together, protect our interests and what is ours. So if we understand that, whatever differences we have, we can come back home and settle it. But first and foremost, we need to fight as one. We need to agree with each other. We need to understand that we cannot win, we cannot achieve our goals unless we are united as one people. That is my parting shot. And I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and this privilege to participate in your forum. I want to commend you for the work you're doing. In my own little ways, I will continue to support the work you're doing, and I'm also happy to answer your call anytime you call on me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief Charles Okando, our guest today, discussing this all-important topic, homecoming, a transformational move towards the restoration of our sovereignty. Our sovereignty is tied to our survival and is tied to our freedom. Chief Okando is the immediate past president of Ndi Igbo, or rather the Igbo Union Yorkshire, which is one of the biggest Igbo community in the United Kingdom here, and also a member of Board of Trustees of Obako Ndi Igbo, United Kingdom and Ireland. Obako Ndi Igbo is the confederation of different Igbo unions or associations from the different cities, counties or towns of the United Kingdom and Ireland. We appreciate you so much, sir, and I'm glad that you're happy to answer our call when next we call on you. I'm sure we'll be doing that from time to time, because this interaction and engagement we do with community is ongoing. I also thank you for the platform which your union provided for us, IPOB, last August, when we came to the Oba Kondigbo National Iriji Festival and Cultural Day, which was hosted in your area in Bradford. We are able to interact with our people. Our community engagement, evangelism, mobilization continues even this year. So from time to time, we will send a delegation to your gatherings, including the meetings, so that we continue to consistently ram home this message of freedom, this message of truth, this message of justice. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's the program this week. I do hope you enjoyed it. I will be glad to join us same time next Sunday. The UK Timeout will return, and I will be joined by two national leaders of our global movement from Europe to discuss how Biafrans in their respective countries of residence have taken to homecoming call. So today we've heard from a community leader who is not a member of IPOB. Next Sunday, by the special grace of Chukwuka, we'll hear from two colleagues of mine, national coordinators of Sweden and Finland. Sweden and Finland are in the Scandinavia. So we need to hear from them. And then they will tell us how people in their region or countries are responding to the call to come home. Mazi Jude highlighted the fact that our IPOB leadership, the Directorate of State, has mapped out a program where not just IPOB members, but all Biafrans, Ndigo, inclusive, who have genuine interest in answering this homecoming call, Kurulo, IPOB is happy to play their own part. If it is to provide security to the ESN, we are happy. IPOB is already doing agricultural projects. Last year and the year before, we supplied quality organic seedlings to farmers, the whole of Biafra land, distributed state by state, according to the resources available to us. And these resources are our own individual donations in terms of dues, levies that we pay, not from the government, not a dime. And the testimony this year is that there was increased yield from our farm produce, because we also secure the land. The marauding Fulani killer herdsmen did not destroy their crop after farming, which was happening for the past 4 or 5 years. So IPOB is playing its own part and will continue to do so. We pray that our people will have good understanding and stop buying propaganda of the government of Nigeria and their allies to discredit or demarket IPOB and our Biafra restoration mission, which is a legitimate quest. On behalf of the entire IPOB United Kingdom teams, especially our media, IT innovation team that packaged this program, and also our wonderful Radio Biafra anchor, Mazi Chukwemeka Lozie, I thank you all for listening and wish you and all your loved ones, and indeed all Ndibo and great Biafrans, a peaceful, purposeful, and prosperous 2025 as we begin to wind up the month of January. I don't think we're still allowed to say Happy New Year in February. Now, from here, from me, it's still a Happy New Year. Good night. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
See you all next week.
Yes.
Yeah, tell my Bakala brother Ndewo.
Okay, yes. Apollo Bakalabi.
You tend to, yep.
Yes.
Ndewo, bye-bye.
Ndewo, thank you.